Okay, so we're back. Episode 4. Lots to talk about today, or nothing to talk about today. I don't know, but we're going to talk about some stuff today. So it's Results Rewired. There's a few things we're going to go over today. And look, we're trying to help you be better, right? We're trying to use our life experiences to help you grow, document the journey that we're all on, and make ourselves better. And so if you ever have any questions you'd like to drop, again, we're on YouTube. You can reach out to us, and we'd love to answer any questions you have about business, personal life, how you can be better. So I have a question for you. We had a lot of fun this weekend. I say as a CEO of a relatively large organization, a lot of your time's working on the business, right? You don't get to work in it as much as you used to. And so this weekend I got to work in the business, right? We got out breakfast at 8 a.m. with the team, or 8:30, and then we were out there till, 6 o'clock roughly. There's people who stayed later. It was a lot of fun. But what got me thinking was, well, how do you spot good leadership and bad leadership? And so my question was for you guys, this could be a topic, is what does good leadership look like? What does bad leadership look like? And how do you spot it, right? What are maybe some qualities people share? And we can go back and forth on a few things because it's probably a very vague question, but we'll start with what does good leadership look like and what does bad leadership look like?
Yeah, I'll kind of dive in. It's this summer I was dropping my son off at strength and conditioning practice for football every morning. Some mornings 5:45 a.m., some mornings 8 a.m. And kind of just my speech to him every time I was dropping him off is like, hey, there's two things that you can control. You can control your attitude and you can control your effort. Those are the two things. It's like you got to show up. Your attitude is going to be contagious to everyone else, and then your effort's going to be contagious to everyone else. So you talked about this weekend, just an incredible Saturday. It's like, we had a lot of teammates that came out, and we kind of set the stage for the day. And you got to be leader-led in generating a great attitude, being very intentional, giving it full force effort. We had one of the biggest days that we've had year to date, but it's all transferable. And so when I think about leadership in general, who do you looking for a leader? Well, you're looking for someone that's going to actually not only motivate you, that's going to be able to be there shoulder to shoulder, which I've talked about before, because people are looking for leaders in their life. They're looking for people who, what does it look like to have success? And so when they can see somebody that's built the organization the last 3 or 4 years, I've always talked about, hey, follow my footsteps, do as I do, don't do as I say.
Yeah, it's leader-led. I mean, that's ultimately what it's all about, leading from the front, doing the things you expect your people to do. I learned the greatest lesson in this arena when I went to Fitness Connection. So when I was hired in at Fitness Connection, I mean, arguably, I had a solid resume. I was coming from, obviously, 24 Fitness, where I'd run 70 stores. It was one of the largest health club chains in the world. I had also known the owners of Fitness Connection for 25 years. So I went into that organization with everything you'd want from a resume standpoint, right? But at the end of the day, the minute I stepped in the door, the employees there, the vast majority, they don't care what your resume is. They didn't care what I had previously accomplished. They did not care. And so I don't remember, it's probably like my 5th or 6th month. Of course, Phil Howard told me when I was hired that I would never have to run a club. But of course, 6 months in, we got into a situation where I had to run a club. So I had to go from, a world where I'd run 70 clubs sitting in boardrooms to then with a new company as the VP of sales, I was then asked to run a club. And I had to run that club for a week. And by the way, I had to do it 3 different times over about a 4-month span. I will tell you, the honest to God truth is that I gained more respect from the people that work for me when I had to go in and run a club. I had to do what they were doing, right? And I noticed it was actually amazing to see that after I did that, by the way, I had great success. I beat all of my guys, right? But after I did that, the level of respect that they then showed to me was unbelievable. And so it was an eye-opening experience. I'm 47 years old, right? But at that time, I was like, wow, man, this is the power of leading from the front, because I had to go do what they did, live in their world. And I did a fairly decent job of doing that. From that moment forward, guess what? They were more responsive. They were more engaged in my meetings. I had earned their respect. And so many leaders, think that you're going to get the respect when you have the title. That's untrue. People are not going to respect you because they have the title. You have to earn their respect. So being leader-led, I mean, that's the key thing. And if you are a leader-led type of a leader, then guess what? People will die on the battlefield for you. And so how do you spot good leadership? I would say you can simply watch a leader over a period of time and watch the people that work for them, and you will clearly see that if they're a good leader, those people are willing to go above and beyond for that leader. They'll put in more hours. They'll come in on their days off. They'll do anything that leader asks because they're uber loyal to that leader. And the reason why they're uber loyal to that leader is a leader-led type of a leader.
And they know they're going to win when that leader shows up.
Yep.
That's the difference, is that you want to be around winners, and great leaders win. They bring the energy. It's very contagious. They do the appropriate work necessary to make sure that whoever shows up with them that day, everyone's going to be successful.
Speaking of it, by the way, that's the reason why Results is successful. I would say just look at every roofing company out there. Look at every roofing organization out there. You know, Dustin is the type of and we're a big company. Like, we're a big company with a lot of folks. Like, he could easily be in the office all day, every day. He could easily be doing CEO stuff all day, every day. But to your credit, man, you're out in the field, and not just out in there as an appearance, but out there doing the work. This weekend was a great example, right? I got to watch you and Greg out on a Saturday from frickin' early in the morning till 6, 7 o'clock at night on roofs, doing the work, leading from the front. And we had one of the best weekends we've ever had. And so that's what makes us so special, is the fact that you've always been that way. Like, from the minute that I met you, like, you've always been that type of guy to don't just do what I say, but I'm going to do what I say. And so that's what has made you great and all the companies you work for. And it's what makes our organization great, is that that's what you do each and every day as our CEO.
Leadership doesn't have a title, right? It doesn't. You can lead. Leadership doesn't have a title, right? It absolutely does not. And if you're just going on a journey by yourself, you're just taking a walk, right? And you have to demonstrate what good looks like, and you have to show them what good looks like, and you have to be able to do it, right? And there is a balance, because if you have to do it for everybody every single day, then you're not going to grow the company. And you have to, as a leader, you have to develop more leaders, right? And people that can be good. I always just say good leaders observe, man. They observe, and they try to put people in situations to win. And they observe, and they're always watching around them. And I think the fundamental thing that separates good leaders from great leaders, or just anybody, a manager from a leader, is they're willing to take the pressure of the entire organization. They're willing to take all the problems of all the people around them, and they just don't allow excuses. Your excuses are a lie. All of your excuses are a lie. You don't believe them. And so when you're a leader, you hear that, I got this going on, I got that going on, but everybody has those problems. And how do you articulate to somebody that nobody cares about their problems without saying no one cares about your problems? Because it's the truth, because we all have those problems. I think leaders have the ability to cut through the bullshit, cut through the clutter, and speed up the reaction time from where somebody's at to where they need to be. And they have to care, right? I think you have to care. The number one thing of all leaders is you have to care. Because look, man, when you're hearing everybody's problems, it's hard. When you're hearing a bunch of excuses, it's hard. Because you're going to listen to other people's excuses all fucking day, man. You're going to hear something, it's hot, I'm tired, I stayed out late, I didn't do this, I didn't have that, I had bad luck, my dog's sick, my kid's sick, my wife's mad at me, I had this. You hear it all the time, and so eventually you just start to believe it. Like, oh, maybe it is hot out here, maybe we should do that. No, man, you can't. So you have to be able to take all their problems and all their BS and then, cipher through it and then guide them to be better. People are looking to be led, man. That's why I always look at, why do sports teams have such a big following? Why, though? Like, really, why? Like, why do they have such a big following? It's like sports organizations are like leaders. You follow them for what, right? Like, it baffles me. Like, you have people that will die for freaking the Lakers, like myself, die for like Lakers, and not anymore. I don't pay attention to sports, but they're dedicated. And why? It's like, I don't understand. I always try to monitor, hey, man, I need to be like a sports franchise. People follow me no matter what. Win or lose, they'll follow you. So I don't know. What are some, I was just thinking, what are some good characteristics? Like, what are good characteristics you see in good leaders?
Yeah, you're talking about sports organizations. I was thinking about, what America likes to see is when an athlete falls, gets hit hard, gets right back up, overcomes adversity.
Yep.
So effective leaders, I mean, every single day they overcome adversity. I mean, you've got to take on a lot from an emotional state of it, business responsibilities. Many different things are going against you in order to be effective and help your company to be successful. And so having leaders, you said it before, Jason, but work under calm desperation. That's going back to the emotional intelligence piece of it. And they just have a can attitude, like nothing holds them back, nothing holds them down. Like they truly have a mindset that, hey, that we're going to win come heck or high water, right? And so when I think about sports organizations, why America tunes in, and you think about the Tom Brady's, the Patrick Mahomes, who I got on the fantasy football yesterday, so I'm happy with that draft choice. When you think about, that he or they are going to go above and beyond and do things that a lot of people don't think that's possible. Leaders bring that.
Yeah, I think good characteristics for me, number one, and you just said, is that you have to genuinely care about your folks. Like really, like if you're a leader in any capacity, I don't care where it's at. If you're the general manager of McDonald's, at the end of the day, if you want to run a successful business, to me, the number one thing is you have to genuinely care about people. And what I mean by that is not just care about them doing the process correctly, because most managers, that's all they care about. Did you do this specific job duty the correct way, right? So I'm a manager, I'm your boss, I'm here to make sure you're doing your job. Did you do X, Y, and Z per company policy, right? That's the way most managers operate. Okay, so sometimes people do and sometimes they don't. If they don't, the question is why? Are they untrained? Are they unskilled? Or most people that I found that are struggling at work, there's something going wrong internally, right? And so if you truly care about your people, then you're going to want to understand the reasons behind why they're maybe not doing what they need to do, right? And sometimes that creates an environment where you have to have some difficult conversations. We had a meeting this morning where we were talking to a particular employee about some of their personal challenges. They brought up some of their personal challenges on the home front with their family. And we spent like an hour kind of sorting through that. Now, corporate America would say, don't talk about that kind of stuff. You can't talk about the kind of stuff. Like they forbid you from getting in on those topics at time. And I would argue that's why people hate big corporations, right? Because they feel like they work for a company that doesn't care. They feel like they work for a leader or a company that doesn't care about the personal struggles and challenges that they're going through. And I would argue is that you as a manager and leader, if you actually care about your people, you're going to spend a significant amount of time helping them through their personal challenges. I mean, look, let's just give an example. Someone's a father and their kid is having a difficult time. Maybe their children are not well. Maybe they're ill, they're sick. And so if you just turn a blind eye to that and you don't care about that, and you don't care about the impact that's having on their productivity, you're missing the boat. Something as simple as just acknowledging that you are aware that their child is sick and that you are concerned and you care, and hey, I'm here to help you if you need anything, if you just want to talk about it. Just sometimes that level of support that you're showing to that employee is going to be enough to get that employee through the day to where they're going to be productive. So caring is the number one thing I think that drives successful leadership, and it's so rare because most companies simply teach their managers that all they need to do is inspect the processes and the work itself, and that's all that matters. And I would argue that's probably the least important thing.
I always had the simplest rule about leadership. When you're in a race, who's the leader? Where's he at?
Yeah.
He's out front. When somebody's leading, what are they doing? They're out front. Whether it's a NASCAR race, they're out front. In the NFL, if you want to use Tom Brady, Patrick Mahomes, when they led the league in passing, they were number one, right? Leadership is just that. It tells you the freaking answer is in the word. Lead. You lead from the front. If you have to tell people you're a manager, if you can show people you're a leader. And you got to be able to articulate not only your vision, but their vision for their life so clear that they feel like it already happened, right? Because then they're bought in. And just most leaders can't do that. They want to tell, right? I want to tell. But ironically, most of them learn by being shown, right? But they want to tell others. And so if you tell people you're a manager, if you show people you're a leader is just that, man. You're a leader. You're out front. you're doing those things, right? You're doing it every day. You're doing those things. You're leading the way. You're modeling the way. Now, again, as a leader for anyone, look, there's going to be a point to where, you can't do it every single day for everyone. Your job is to create more leaders, and you model the way to create more leaders that can implement and duplicate what you're doing. So what about bad leaders? What is the telltale sign for bad leaders? And by the way, look, I think leadership for everybody, like, you be careful saying, I want to be a leader. Leadership freaking exposes you, man. You cannot fake it till you make it in leadership. You can't. It absolutely cannot. Leadership will expose you. I think leadership exposes you faster than anything out there. It's like social media. It doesn't change you. It exposes you. It does like money. It exposes you. But I actually argue that leadership exposes you faster than any of those, because if you don't truly care, people will know. If you don't, because you're not answering your phone, you're not there for them, you're only there when it's convenient, right? It's like, well, I'll answer when it's convenient for me. And leadership is, I've been out to dinner with my family, my wife and kids in a restaurant, and somebody's texting me, hey man, I need help ASAP. I've stepped out of that dinner and called them, right? Is that leadership? I don't know, but it makes a difference in that person's life. But it was super inconvenient for me, right? Late at night, early in the morning, you have to be able to. And so for anyone out there who wants to be a leader, man, it's going to expose you. It's going to test your grit. It's going to test your patience. It's going to test everything. I'd put the closest thing you're going to get to it is your kids, right? If you don't like the way your kids are acting, man, you need to look in the mirror, because they're a reflection of you, man. You modeling the behavior. Your kids don't just turn out bad. Oh, my kids are terrible. It's because look how you are as a parent. If your kids are acting out, if they're not doing the right things, again, kids are going to be kids. I understand that. I'm talking bad kids. If your kids are out doing stuff, it's because you modeled the way. You led them in their life. They didn't just learn that, right? They didn't just go, or they didn't just pick that, I'm going to go freaking do drugs. They learned that from something. You're putting them around the wrong people. You're not coaching them up. You're not walking them through. You're not having those conversations. You're like, hey, just go play on this. Go play on that. Get out of my face. Go with your friends. And you're not paying attention to them. It's the same thing like in the workplace. If you're not out helping your people, if you're not communicating with them, guiding them, coaching them up, working them through their life problems, somebody else is. I use that as like spouse. I mean, if you're not taking care of your wife or husband, somebody else will. If you're not giving them attention, somebody else will, right? Oh, they're loyal. Okay, well, you need to be loyal too. You need to do your job. So as a leader, I think it's crazy, man. If you want to, be careful, because it will expose you. Bad leaders.
Yeah, so I'm super passionate about this. The managing through fear and intimidation, fear of loss. This is the number one thing that I've seen over 25 years, is that ineffective leaders manage through fear. If you don't do X, Y, and Z, then I'm going to write you up. If you don't do X, Y, and Z, then you could potentially lose your job. If you don't hit goal, it's going to cost you that promotion, right? I've seen that on repeat, and at the highest levels. At the highest level, I have seen CEOs do this. I've seen executive VPs do this. And I always say is that, look, there is a time and a place to have those types of conversations. Like there is a time and a place where you're going to have to talk to people about the consequences of their actions. But there are far too many leaders that do that at the earliest stages of non-performance. The first sign of a lack of performance or a low performing employee, they jump straight to fear management, fear of loss. I always say is that, that's got to be your last result. Like that's got to be at the very tail end. You've exhausted all other resources, try to get that employee to move the needle and to improve. Then, maybe you do have to have that difficult conversation of here's what's going to happen if you don't improve your behaviors. But there's way too many leaders out there that jump straight to that as their chief way to motivate folks. And I think that's just a symptom of they don't care. They don't have a relationship with that employee. Like generally speaking, if you care about someone, you have a strong relationship and bond with that employee, then those people are going to want to win for you as their leader. And so when they're struggling and they're not doing well, you can have some pretty simple conversations as to, what they're not doing that they need to improve upon to get to where they want to be. The last thing you have to do is pull out the card of, hey, you're going to get fired and you're going to lose your job and you're going to lose everything you've worked for. Like that's last resort type of stuff. But so many inexperienced people do that right out of the gates when they see people struggling.
Yeah. So effective leaders, it's like in orders. They set clear expectations. They demonstrate what good looks like. They observe and assess. They provide timely feedback, and then praise and recognition. Now, ineffective leaders, to your point, they set direction, and then they go counterclockwise and they hold people accountable, right? So what they're lacking is they're lacking shoulder to shoulder. They're lacking the demonstration. They're lacking being an effective coach in identifying what the root cause is of what that person's opportunity may be, right? And again, I'll kind of talk about bad leaders. Bad leaders are they're self-centered. Bad leaders they play the victim mentality. Bad leaders always have excuses. They're problem finders. They're not problem solvers.
I always said that the quickest thing you could sum up like a bad leader is how they say things. If they say my guys, my team, I and me, they're bad. And then one of the other just telltale things I've always said, look how someone delegates when there's praise, and look how someone delegates when there are problems. If there's a reward and something goes right and they take credit or want the credit as a leader, they're bad. If they give it to their team, they're great. And when something goes wrong, if they take the blame or they pass it, you can fundamentally know how they react to that, if they're a good leader or a bad leader. Look, man, I think that outside of your family, right? Okay, outside of like health scares, right? We all know you got some major health problem. That's hard. Family, something happens with your family, like an illness, that's hard. Kids is hard. Outside of that, the hardest thing in life to do is be successful, right? And the hardest thing is leadership. And to be a successful leader, look, it's hard. And the reason it's hard is because it's an all the time thing. It's 24/7, 365, 12 months. There's no days off when you're a leader, successful leader. You got to be prepared for you to understand everybody and nobody understand you, right? You got to be there for everybody's problems and nobody's there for yours. You have to be able to put your game face on at all times. You could have the worst conversations of your life and somebody could call you right after you hang up the phone and you have to be pumped up for them. You can't react to them. You can't go off at them. You can't shut them down at all times. One time and it's over. Everybody's going to come to you with their bad. Nobody's going to come to you usually with their good. They're going to come to you because they want you to solve a problem, right? It's like in the morning. Why don't you see on social media, hey, it's a great day at work, man. I went down the highway, no wrecks, no traffic. I made it to work on time. Yeah. It's fucking accident here, cars out of the way. I hit every light, school zone, and I was late, right? Because that's summarized for leadership. And so you have to be prepared for that, man. Nobody's going to understand you, but you got to understand everybody else, right? And you can't want the clout. And you have to be able to give it to everybody else. You have to, hey, man, these things, you guys are successful for them. But it's all the time thing. It's like kids, you can't let up. The day you let up is the day you start over. You can't let up. So it's hard. And I think, most of first of all, I don't think there's bad leaders. I just think they're managers pretending to be leaders. They're managers try to call themselves leaders. To me, there's no such bad thing as leader. Because if you're truly a leader, you can't be bad because you're leading people, right? If you're a bad leader, no one's following you, so therefore you're not a leader because you're by yourself. You're on an island. You're alone. So to me, there's actually no bad leaders. It's just managers pretending that they're leaders or trying to call themselves that they're leaders because if you're leading people, you have a following. People are following on you. And look, it's a privilege. Leadership, this is the whole thing I get from me. Leadership is a privilege. If somebody believes in you with their life, with their destination, with their career, with their family, and you take that lightly, man, it's a privilege that somebody believed in you so much that they put their future in your hands. And you're taking that lightly. You're taking days off. You're taking time off from that. Well, I need to spend time with my family, right? Yeah, but somebody believed in you. Do both. Integrate it. Be there for them. Text them. Check on them. Get to know them. Follow up with them. How you doing? What's going on? Do you need help with anything? Reach out to them first, man, and they'll feel like you truly care. But that's just for me. I don't think there's bad leaders, man. I think the bad leaders, because to me, if you're in a race by yourself, are you leading anyone? And that's what happens.
Yeah, I'm thinking about a leader that inspires me. I'm aspirational to be like this individual, the Godfather himself, Mark Mastroff. So we can kind of talk about what leaders have inspired you. Here's why. As you were talking about that, I think about many of you who know Mark. I don't know how many health clubs he has and how many countries he has, but it's a lot. In addition to one of the owners of the Sacramento Kings, but having worked years underneath him in different companies, is that I recall back many years ago, I was a fitness manager, which is like a peon in the fitness industry, and I would contact him. I would call him from time to time. He always answered the phone, And oftentimes he was in another country when he answered his phones. It doesn't matter what the position is, but he's a person that, hey, don't stop doing with what got you promoted. And we talk often about that. Even one of the brands that I worked with him, like the Steve Nash brand in Vancouver, Canada, I recall like daily report outs and roll-ups that we would do every single night. The field would send them to me. I had no idea that when it got to me, it also got into Mark's inbox as well. And granted, he's probably over several hundred different health clubs. His response back to some of the club managers that were sending those daily report outs, I was like, wow, he's way up here. He's had all this success, but he's so in tune with the business. He's so in tune with the typical, leads, appointment shows. What is the fundamentals of the business to be successful? Now multiply that amongst all the different companies that he oversees is pretty aspirational for me. But when I think about that, again, somebody that is still in the trenches, someone that builds an incredible relationship, someone that continues to be very responsive, and that's in many different countries. That's what a good leader does. And I'm plugging Mark because we want him to come on our podcast at some point.
God, that'd be crazy.
Zoom in. At least zoom in. Come on, man. If you're really leader-led.
Yeah. Right.
Let's talk about it.
He
Yeah,
will.
it is. But where does that come from? I feel like every day I'm just a kid. You remember when you're in the playground, you're playing football, and you're just drawing up plays in the dirt. You're just having the time of your life. I this whole bullshit of, you got to follow your passion to be successful. Man, let your passion follow you. You don't have to do what you're passionate about. You can let your passion follow you. You got to care what you're doing and understand, like, I don't think that anybody that's in our organization works for me. I work for them. So all the places in the world they could have worked, they chose results. I don't take that lightly. I fundamentally think I work for them, right? I wish I could talk to everybody every single day. I wish I could connect with them every day because I truly do want all their dreams to come true, right? Early in the days, I got to connect more often with everybody because there wasn't as many. Now we're 100 plus. It's harder, but I do. I'm like, I work for them, man. Like, stop getting that attitude. Well, they should do this and they should do that. What are you doing for them? What value are you providing for them, right? You work for them. They could have went and worked anywhere else in the world, man. They picked you. They believed in you. They believed in your vision. And you're taking that lightly. I just don't understand that. What are you going to do for me? And what's funny is I interviewed this other roofing company before I started my own. I was previously working for another roofing company. I sat down with this guy. I could tell he's a complete sociopath. Like, within 5 minutes, his first question out of his mouth was, what are you going to do for me? I was like, what? What do you mean, what am I going to do for you? That was his first question. He was serious. He's like, what are you going to do for me? It's a privilege to work here. And I was like, look, man, the rise and fall of that is so superficial. There's no substance to what you're doing, man. You're insecure. That's why you have to say that. I think it goes back. Look, insecure leaders drive through leads appointment shows. They drive through fear management because they can't do it, right? You can't do it. You didn't do it. That's why, like, for me, when we started this, I went all in day one. I'm not like other roofing company owners that had to work a side job for 2 or 3 years. That's not me. I went all in. I believed in the vision. I painted the vision. And then when people bet on me, I didn't want to let them down. I didn't never want to go to them and say, hey, man, I'm sorry this didn't work out because I didn't work hard enough. I wish you would have been in the field working harder. I didn't want to do that. And I don't want to do that to my kids. I can't imagine the day going to my kids and saying, Connor, Kobe, Gianna, I love you guys to death. I loved you more than anything in the world. But because it was hard, Daddy couldn't do it for you. But you can be anything you want in the world. You can go accomplish all those things I talked about, but I didn't do it because it was hard. Daddy's feelings were more important than the promise and my goals. My feelings were more important than my family. There's no way, man. And so I consider the people that work here like my family, the ones that get through. And I think that's what guys like Mark had, man. Guys like Mark were like, although you think, oh, that's not true, he's not going to please you every single day and you're not going to agree on everything, right? Like, he might like Dr. Pepper and you like Coke, right? He might like Sprite. Who fucking knows? But the point is, he's not going to please you every day. He's not. You're going to not agree on things. You're going to wish the company did things better. But find you an owner or find you leaders that truly care and don't lose track of that, because once you leave, man, it's hard to get back. I spent how long? 24-hour fitness. I left in like 2007, I think, 2008. I don't remember. And I started working with UTFF like 2015. When did you go there?
12,
14,
2013.
13.
Yeah.
And that means I left in 06. So when did you get promoted? 24 to RVP? That was
2007, 8.
So 2006. So that means I left 24 Hour Fitness in 2005 or 2006, because it was before that. And I didn't get to work with you till almost 10 years later.
Yeah.
So 10 years of my life, I searched looking for a great leader, which is Miller. And then after I left Miller, I didn't find it again. So I had to create it. I got tired of trying to search for it. So I was like, man, why don't, look, if you, this is my greatest tip I could give for anybody that wants to be a leader. Be the leader you wish you had. Yep. Be the leader you always wanted. If you could just lead people the way you want to be led, the leader you've always dreamed of, just that, and you'll have no problems. And the other thing, be who you say you are, right? Stop putting shit out there. People are going to see through you. People are going to detect you. I think people want vulnerable leaders. They want authentic leaders. They want people that aren't afraid when they fail. They're not afraid to be who they are. But if you're not going to be who you say you are, you're going to get exposed, man. Quick.
You know, it's really good. It's like, I think it's something that maybe we can transition into is effective leaders have daily disciplines. So you built this company 4 years ago. Miller, you're a big part of it. You know, Kevin, Jeremy, everyone that's just offering a ton of support. But if you can kind of share, what are your daily disciplines that you repeat every single day?
Yeah. So I have a couple of them. It's really funny. My grandfather taught me this. So my grandfather was in the Air Force for 25 years. He used to get so mad at me. Justin, every day you shit, shower, shave. I was like, what? Like that,
3 S's.
That's how he rolled, man. It didn't matter. And I remember one time, funny story. So me and a couple of the homies were, you know, grandpa had like a nice liquor cabinet, right? And so we jacked a bunch of his vodka. Grandpa had scotch too, but that was for real men. Like when he said it put hair on your chest, I was like, bro, scotch is different. This is back in the day, some young cats. And so we took a bunch of grandpa's vodka. Well, we thought it would be good. So we set it up. My grandparents had like some land. And so we'd go down there and fish. We set up a tent and we like do, you know, a couple, 5, 6 of us or whatever. And so we set it up a couple days before. So we make sure we got the vodka. So we had it in time. So we filled the other stuff up with water and put it back in the freezer, not knowing it was freeze. So grandpa was on to us like day one, but he didn't say anything. My grandfather was great at letting you fall flat on your face, but not so hard to where you were done, right? He wanted you to learn a valuable lesson. So my grandfather knew what we were doing. We got some vodka. We were going to party it up with the boys, we would fish or whatever. And man, we stayed up to like 3 a.m. Just I think we all threw up, right? It was tough. Like we were young, you know. We thought it was cool. It was a terrible idea. My grandfather wakes us up at 4:30 in the morning. Get your asses up, or we got holes to dig. I was like, what are you talking about? We're going to sleep. So get your ass up. Any reason why you don't want to get up? No, sir. He's like, we're going to dig these fences. We're like, Grandpa, we thought we were going to do it till later. Hey, man, by 6, he's like, you boys want your coffee? We don't drink coffee. We're like 10 years old, 12 years old. And but he made us get out there and work. Hey, man, by like 11, we're all puking. We're all dying, drinking water. And finally, he's like, that alcohol rubbing off. We're like, how'd you know? And he's like, I knew y'all were drinking. He's like, why'd you let us do all this? He's like, you learn your lesson, huh? He's like, I told y'all. So, yeah. But to go about my grandfather, how always said, look, man, you will tell a lot by a man by his daily disciplines. And when things get hard, your daily disciplines are going to define you. And so the shit, shower, shave, my grandfather always had shit, shower, shave to get moving, right? So he would get up, go to the bathroom, he would shower and shave. In the shower, man, he taught me that. He's like, you start your day off. He's like, young man, you need to be shaved, right? Clean face. And then he would walk. He'd do his daily walk, and he'd get his paper. He'd come back in and read his paper, drink his coffee, eat his breakfast. So by 6 a.m., he was ready to go. So he got his showered up. He did his walk. He read his paper and go. And so for me, man, I found out every time in my life, my daily disciplines determine my destiny, man. Like the shit, shower, shave is the only product. I noticed we started a workout group because I'll go into this, is that my workouts weren't going good. I wasn't feeling motivated. And I was getting up because I was being lazy, and I would sleep in a little bit, and then I wouldn't shower before my workout. And I wasn't enjoying it. I didn't like it. Something felt off. And I was like, man, I'm not showering before my workout. Like, why would you shower before your workout? Because it's my daily discipline, man. So I literally get up, shit, shower, and shave before I work out. I get in the shower, shave, and then I go work out. I do our workout, and I do it after. And so for me, it's like, look, I have a routine now, and I feel off. I don't do it. I get up, and I go through and then I get out. First thing I do is cold plunge. I do my dry sauna, infrared, and do the workout in the morning. And last Sunday, I typically don't do it on Sundays, and now I've gotten to where I've got to get in there on Sundays and doing something, or I feel like my whole day's off. Because what I know is, look, the first thing I do in the morning is getting that cold plunge. My entire body goes to zero. Every bad thought, every good thought, it's out. It's done. And I never want to get in there. It's 36 to 38 degrees, It is cold. You're to your neck. You don't want to do it. And you get in there and tell yourself you're doing this, man. You're not negotiating with your body. You're cold. Well, negotiate with it to be hotter. But you're not getting out, man. You got 5 minutes. Go. And it's the slowest 5 minutes of your life.
Your body does not adapt to that cold the entire time.
It doesn't. They say, oh, did you get used to it? Oh, yeah, sure, dude. You should try it. You don't get used to it. And then you get out and you're like, man, this sucks. And then you go sit into 130, 140 degree dry sauna. And your body heats
Infrared.
up. Infrared. And you feel good. And then when that's done, sometimes we'll jump back in the cold plunge to cool back down, right, to get the workout. And then we go through about 45 minutes of just intense workouts, 6 to 8 stations, 45 seconds each stations, 5 to 6 rounds of intense, nonstop working out, all, weights. And by the end of it, man, you're gassed. But what I know in that moment is that before 7 a.m., I've already cold plunge, dry sauna, cardio, exercise, and there's nothing that's going to go on that I can't get through. And so my mental battle is I'm good, man. I got mental clarity. I'm back at 0. I've erased all my demons with the cold plunge. My body feels good, and I'm disciplined that when it gets hard, I'm going to fight, because every morning when that alarm goes off, I don't want to get up. Every morning I go, man, I wish I could just sleep in. Every morning I go, I don't want to do it today, man. I have enough money in the bank account. I pay enough employees to run the thing. Let me just sleep in. And then I don't know. I'm like, get up. What are you talking about? That's a loser. That's average. Get up. And then I go through and I sit in that 38-degree water. And I get in that 140-degree sauna. And I go through the 45-minute exercise. And I go, let's go. Today's the day. So when it gets hard, I go back to that discipline of like, bro, you've already went through this. What are you talking about? Right? So that daily disciplines will ground you when problems come up, man. Because let's use me as an example, man. I've had a tough childhood. I was homeless when I was 14. I lived on a park bench. I bounced around from house to house. I was blessed enough to have a couple people in high school take me in, right? That sounds great. Well, at least they took you in. But hey, man, it's not your mom and dad. It's not your family, right? Like living on someone's couch, it's not healthy. It took me 5 years to graduate high school. When I got through all that, I still went through problems. I was living in my car again a few years after I left, or right after I left 24. And man, I was arrested multiple times. I had it all, lost it all. Terrible, right? That's the worst feeling in the world. The worst feeling that no one tells you about is not living in the slums, not living in the trailer park. You don't know any better. The worst part is living in that trailer park, going to bed hungry, having no electricity at times, bad Christmases, domestic violence, all the whole drugs, alcohol, all that. Getting out of it, getting a house, getting cars, and then losing it all. That's the worst feeling, right? So I use me as an example, man. Those demons come up often, right? And when you have a problem in the workplace and something triggers it and you're having a bad day, that can throw you off, man. If something goes wrong, roof goes wrong, supplier goes wrong, somebody steals, whatever it is, it can throw you off your entire day. And then what does that do? Nothing, right? It's nothing. So when you have those daily disciplines, you're like, man, what are you doing? Stop it. Really? Oh, so you were homeless. Grow up. Oh, you had a bad childhood. Grow up. Oh, you don't know your real dad? Grow up. Oh, your parents weren't there? Grow up. What else, man? What are you doing? You've survived all that. You're crying about it? Where's that going to get you? Oh, you're whining? How does that help you? Are you getting further? Are you setting the example? You're going to tell your kids, hey, sorry, it was hard. Hey, it's okay. Give up. If it gets hard, just give up. No, hell no. And so when you have those daily disciplines, though, you're willing to fight through them because you started your day fighting through just getting up and getting through all that stuff because it's not easy. And I found myself, I'm performing at my best when I'm exercising daily. I'm performing at my best when I'm going through that discipline, man. And I refuse to get off it. So, funny story today, I just hired a full-time trainer for the family. I'm paying this guy $3,000 to $5,000 a month. He's going to work 30 to 40 hours a week for the family. I said, when I travel, I want you going with me. He's a chef too, so he can cook. Look, if I'm not here, none of this is here. And investing in your health and investing in my kids' health, investing in my family's health, like starting it off. So he'll be at the house. He'll be teaching the boys jiu-jitsu, MMA. He's going to be teaching the wife that and work out. And then me, jiu-jitsu, MMA. He can cook. He's going to culinary school, hiring him full-time for the family because I got to invest in my health to set that example. Like, you have to do this. And so, look, I go, hey, man, when we go to like an event, you need to be there. Hey, if we go to Houston, you might have to go. I'll pay for your room, but I don't want to fall off that line because I figured out, hey man, when I fall off this discipline, I do bad things. When I fall off this discipline, I do bad things. And I don't mean bad things. I'm going out doing crazy shit. It's like I'm eating bad foods. Maybe I want to drink. Maybe I want to do something else. Maybe I want to stay up late. Maybe I want to sleep in, and that's not good for anyone, right? It's not. I got to be performing at my best at all times. I can't afford days off. I got too many dreams, man. I ain't fucking sleeping on them.
You like that Bluebell gallon at nighttime,
Bro,
don't
hey,
you?
dude, I'll eat a whole gallon. Hey, Sunday fun day. Hey, man, I love that Bluebell, so I got to do something with it.
Yeah, Jason, what are your thoughts? I mean,
Yeah, so man, I got some crazy stuff on this. So there's been 2 times in my life where I had no purpose and no discipline for a very short stint. So the first time was when my career ended at 24. This is 2016 or so. And so I had a year's severance. And man, I didn't work for 3 months. And I remember I have a Facebook post that popped up, and I'd taken a picture of my pool and said, this semi-retirement stuff is pretty cool. Well, here's the reality. In those 3 months, man, nothing to do, right? So no discipline. Didn't have to be at work early. Didn't matter what I was doing. Craziest story, somewhere in those 3 months, hanging out with the homies, going out, doing things I shouldn't do. And again, I'm a grown-ass man, right? My daughter's in high school. I'll never forget the only time my daughter ever got in trouble, like the only time she's out late, she's in trouble, she calls her dad. First time she's ever had to, hey, you can always call me. You can always call me if you get in trouble.
I was with you that night.
She calls me, and what am I doing? I'm out till all hours of the night with this dude. And I'm like, hey, sweetheart, I love you, but I'm not the one to save you tonight. Call your mom.
He goes, I'm in trouble too. You need to call your mom. He had to phone a friend, bro. Everybody was phoning a friend. Oh, boy.
So for me, man, that was like, man, no discipline in my life, no morning routine, no work routine, getting into all kind of trouble. It was horrible. And then so fast, you think I'd have learned my lesson with those three months, right? Then it was, man, look, during when COVID hit, I'm sure there are a lot of people that went through this. Like when COVID hit and we got locked down, I'd gone from a world where I was working for TrueFit. And so my week started with traveling. My week started with getting up early, getting to the airport. I had my routine of, I'm a travel czar, right? Traveling, going from city to city. And then all of a sudden COVID hits and we're all locked up at home, right? And so, man, that was terrible. That was, again, same thing. Like you get out of your routine, you get out of your daily, weekly responsibilities. And, I've told this story before. There's people that know this, but, I was one of those guys. I didn't really drink at all till I was 40, like hardly ever, like just never did it. I was too busy, too many responsibilities. And man, during the COVID run, sitting at home for three months, I got very accustomed to the couple glasses of wine, couple glasses of whiskey, all that kind of stuff each night. And look, that carried on beyond COVID. It just became a normal thing. And then here's a fascinating thing. Dustin's been on a real kick with the whole team about, this type of stuff, your daily disciplines, your responsibilities. Often we talk about the effects that alcohol can have on you. And of course, I was that guy that was sitting back thinking, I have a glass of wine a night. Who cares? No big deal, right? So I started listening to Dustin like 3 months ago, and I was like, hey, man, I'm going to stop that altogether. Man, what a difference it makes. Like, I can honestly say, like, what a difference. Like, I didn't even realize. Again, so really started bad during COVID and then stopped it 3 months ago. And, hey, man, like, it's amazing the effect, like, not having a drink has on your energy the next day. And so, look, we had this big storm in Dallas-Fort Worth this year, and our business has been blowing up. And right after the storm hit, I told myself, I go, look, man, I'm going to go to bed earlier, get up earlier. I want to try to get to the office before anybody got here, beat Dupe to the office. Like that would be a monumental World thing. Record, and I've done it. Like I've done it. And so for me, it's like, it's my new habit. So at 50 years old, I found a new habit. I'm getting up earlier than I've ever gotten up before. I'm getting to work earlier than I've gotten to work in the last, 15 years. And it's been fabulous. And so I would tell anybody is that, your daily disciplines really matter. It's very easy throughout a long life to get out of those routines. There's things that are going to happen. They're going to take you off your game and mess you up. But man, it's the thing that can keep you really grounded. And I'll just say this last topic is that I think the world's got it totally wrong. Like so many people go through life and they say, oh, working sucks. I wish I didn't have to work. No. Look, we all need a purpose in our life. And so maybe you're not doing the exact job that you dream of, but I would argue is that job is your purpose. It's how you provide for yourself, for your family. It keeps you grounded. It keeps you responsible. And so, working and having a purpose is so very important. It creates that discipline, not only in the morning to start your day, but throughout the day. And it keeps you out of trouble. It keeps you going down a dark path. So many people that you know of, look, people that are born in rich families, what typically happens to kids, right? So many stories of these kids that run wild because they have all the money, they can do whatever they want, they have no discipline, they have no daily discipline, and they get into trouble. And so I would just say is that for me in my life, there's been 2 times where I didn't have discipline and I had nothing to do. And those are the 2 times where I found myself where I got into the most trouble and it really screwed my life up.
The reason why that discipline is so important, man, because winning is a habit, but so is losing. Yeah. Losing is a habit too, and you're going to do that. And I was that guy, man. People don't think it's like you're not going to run faster. You're not going to jump higher. You're not going to work harder by being fat, out of shape. And that's that's your mental. I'm not just talking about your body. I'm talking about your mental. Like, what are you putting in your body? But what are you putting in your brain? If you're not learning, you're not growing. If you're listening to negative things, then you're not going to, run faster, jump higher, work harder mentally, right? You're going to be defeated. It's all that. It's that game. And people, like, you've got to create those habits. And look, alcohol look, man, I love to go out and have a good time, right? When it's celebrated. But I've just realized alcohol, those 2 or 3 drinks in a night, man, I wasn't thinking as clear. And it was slowing me down. And I didn't want to be that. And I'm not happy with where I'm at. I'm not happy yet. I'm still goals to work on, but I know that I can't work harder if I'm fat, slow, out of shape. You can't. And I don't want to be that guy. And the key to success is like, look, first of all, nobody's going to understand you. Nobody's going to fucking, know what you're going through. And that's okay. It's not their goal. It's not their dream. But here's what. Everybody stops when it gets hard. And everybody stops when it gets difficult. And everybody quits when there's adversity. You just have to begin where everybody else stops. That's it. If you can start where everybody else stops, you're fine. But you can't do that if you're tired. You can't do that if you want to go home to relax. It's waiting for you to go do. It's so simple, man. When you watch everybody around you, just watch them. When it gets hard, they're going to quit. When it gets difficult, they're going to make excuses. They're going to throw in the towel. They're not going to want to do it. And that's when you just keep going. That's when you start. But you have to have endurance. You have to be mentally focused. You can't be hungover. You can't be tired. You have to push through that. And if you do that, you're going to win. And fuck them if they don't understand you, right? It's like other roofing companies. Fuck them. I don't want to be friends with them. Why would I want to be friends with them, right? Do you ever see a lion hanging out with a hyena? Really, though. Why? Because they want to take them down.
Yeah.
Do you? No. Why do Zuckerberg and Elon Musk want to fight? Because they're trying to take the other one. So for me, like other roofing companies, like, I don't wish you harm. Good luck to you, but fuck you. I don't want to be your friend. I don't want to go vacation with you. I don't want to go to lunch with you. I don't want to go to dinner with you. When one of your people install a roof, it takes away from somebody in my team that's trying to freaking win. When our team is doing something and you get a roof, you're taking away from their family. That's food out of their kid's mouth. I don't want to be friends with you. I don't care. And I don't care if you don't understand that. It's good. You go be friends with each other. There's plenty out there. And so that's my discipline, and I get fired up about it.
Hey, what is it about roofing, man? And again, I've only been in this game for a few years. What is it about roofing? I've never seen an industry where, like, competitors literally hang out together and go out on and they go on trips together. And
it's
these conferences they do. I mean, again, we had some stuff in the health club business, but I don't ever remember anybody at LA Fitness hanging out, going out on trips with the people from 24 Fitness. I don't remember the people at Gold's going out with the people at Bally's back. Like, I don't remember that. My mom was in the banking industry. I'd never heard about the people at Wells Fargo doing a conference with all the people at JP Morgan Chase. Roofing, it's so weird to me. It's like
it's an insecurity. It's an insecurity. You're not who you really say you are. You're not doing the things you need to do. And so to eliminate competition, you try to be friends. You think that, like, oh man, I'm coming for everything you got. I'm trying to take some freaking souls. Yeah. I want it all, and I want yours. And if you don't want it, I'll take it. And if you don't want theirs, I'll take theirs. Like, I'm not here to be your friend. I don't want to be your friend, like, at all. Zero. You're either with us or you're against us. Well, no, there's plenty for everybody. Then go get yours. Why are you worried about what I'm doing? I'm worried about the people on our team that I want to hear. I'm secure with what I'm doing and what we're doing. I don't need to be your friend. You're trying to take food out of my kid's mouth. Why would I want to be your friend? Right? It's just it's a legal theft. Like, you're taking food out of my kid's mouth when you install a roof. Right? I want that. I want it for our team. I want them to win. I don't want to be your friend. I don't have to be. I'm willing to compete against you. And I'm willing to see it and say it to your face, but they want to play this kumbaya, like, let's all be friends and take over the industry. No, dude, I want to bury you. I want you to rethink your life's choices and your fucking career to not only don't you ever compete with me again, but maybe you should do something else. Maybe you should go sell solar. Maybe you should go do windows. Maybe you should do, maybe roofing wasn't my thing. I want to take your fucking soul when it comes to this, and I don't want you to ever think you can compete with me again, ever. Like, yeah. I don't want to be your friend. Why would I want to be friends?
Yeah, and, it's like, I remember, if you go back, I'm, again, older, in football sports back in the 80s and even the 90s, like, teams would fight.
Yeah.
Now it's like players hang out with each other. It's so weird to me. Like, what has happened in sports? Like, you're not, I think the Cowboys and the Washington, whatever, Commanders, like, you're not supposed to hang out as buddies. You're supposed to be mortal enemies.
Yeah.
And then, again, back to the roofing thing, it was funny when I first started, we had other roofing companies reach out to us and wanted us to strike an agreement to, if you don't recruit my people, I won't recruit your people. Let's have an agreement that we won't hire each other's people. No. I'm like, what? What are you talking about?
I don't share another grown man's underwear. I'm out, dude.
I'll tell you a funny story, and probably this is the reason why I got cut. So when I was with the Falcons back in the day, it was a preseason game against Tampa Bay. And I had a buddy that I went to college with he was the deep snapper for the Tampa Bay, and I was the punter. And so we're kind of hanging out before the game, just, shooting the shit, no big deal. And he's like, hey, man, I'm trying to get warmed up. Let me snap a couple balls back to you. And I kind of thought for a second, I'm like, oh, that's kind of weird. But he did. And I remember I got cut after that. So I wonder if, I remember Frank Gans was my special teams coach. I bet he was like, dude, he wasn't focused. He's out there congregating with the other team. He doesn't have a competitive mindset. And so it just triggered me.
Yeah.
Why did I get cut? I think it's for that reason.
Yeah, there you go.
It is.
Yeah, you go.
No, it is, because why would you want to be their friend? Like, no, I'm coming to take everything you have. I don't wish you any harm, man. I don't want you to get hurt. I don't want you to go out of business. I want your kids to eat too. But I'm a competitor, and I want to win, and I want to look, because winning is more fun than fun is fun. And that's it. And I don't want to be your friend, because think about this. If I'm out at dinner with you, if I'm on vacation with the competition, I could be teaching our team how to be better. Yeah. I could have been out dinner with them. Why would I want to be out dinner with you?
Vacation with your team.
Exactly. Take them there. I just look, I'm old, man. I don't know. Maybe you don't play that way. Maybe you don't want to do that. I don't get it. I don't understand
Hurts
it.
People's feelings,
maybe I'm wrong. I'm authentic to who I am, man. Be you, they'll adjust. Right? And I'm a competitor, dude. I want to win, and I want our team to win. And I don't want to sit around talking to you because, listen, dude, I ain't giving you shit. I'm not telling you my secrets. You know what my secret is? It's work hard. My secret is care. My secret is to take care of the team. You know how you don't win is going to dinner and events with other roofing company owners, because they don't give a shit if you win. They really don't care. And this for me, look, I want to take some souls. I want to win. I want to bury people. I want to let them know that they're never, ever going to compete with us ever, and you're not on my level, and you never will be, so go home. Go rethink it. Look, dude, Chick-fil-A's hiring. Hey, man, Walmart's hiring. You could be a greeter. There's nothing wrong with that. Go work there, but you shouldn't be in roofing. And if you're going to be in roofing, you should probably go somewhere else, and don't compete with me, because I'll recruit your whole fucking team. I'll take you out, and eventually when the scoreboard strikes zero, we are going to win. Some of these people that are beating us, they just had time. I've been in business 3.5 years. Give me 10, see what happens, right? I'm telling you, just stick to solar, right? Stick to that other stuff. Do something different. Just don't compete with me.
Yeah, it's the, man, you watch The Last Dance with Jordan, or you watch anything with Kobe Bryant, like that was their mentality, right? They would say Jordan, just this fierce competitor. He wanted to take people's souls, right? Kobe, that dream team game where he floored Gasol his own teammate who was playing for another country in the Olympics, and Kobe went out and absolutely destroyed him. Hey, man, that might have been his teammate in the NBA.
I know.
When it came to competing on the world stage. Hey, look, winning is what mattered to Kobe. And so, hey, man, I got to be honest, man. It's really great to see and hear that mentality in the business world, right? Because I've just been blown away in roofing, seeing so many of these roofing companies that just want to hang out and party together, drink together.
Yeah,
I'm just like, it's so Weird.
Out.
So
It's
weird.
it's just an insecurity because you're gonna have to face that dude one day, whether it be, in the field at a you're gonna have to face that, man. And if you're not because this is what I think, people are in over their heads. It's a fake leader. You get exposed. So what better way to eliminate that, somebody calling you out, than be their friend? Because typically your friends aren't gonna call you out, right? So if you're not who you say you really are, right, you're gonna try to be friends with all those people. Not me, man. Like I'm comfortable with who I am. I'm comfortable with what I'm doing, and I don't want to be their friend, right? Nothing against them, but if you're either with us or you're against us, and I don't want to be your friend. I'm not gonna call you out. I don't want to talk trash to you. I'm not gonna go blast you anywhere. But like when I see you, I'll tell you the same thing for your face. Because what are you gonna do about it? Like you're not gonna do anything about it, and I will tell you to your face. Look, dude, if you want to beat me, good luck. Try it. And if you do beat me, respect, because I know how much it took. So respect, but it won't happen. You better bring everything you got. You better be prepared. You be ready to go, because I will lose it all to beat you, to win it all. Hey, man, you can't see your family for the next 5 years to win. Done. What else? You can't do anything else for the next 5 years. Done. You got to work 6 in the morning to 10 at night. Done. What else? You got to give up every single thing you own to win. Done. What else? I'll see my family in 5 years. We'll be fine. I'm just willing to turn it all off to win. So if you're not willing to do that, don't try to compete, because that's how far I'm willing to go. I'm willing to risk it all, to give it all to win. If you're not willing to do that, hey man, stick to solar. If you're not willing to do that, stick to something else. That's fine. There's always room for second place.
That's attraction power with leadership. It's like people want to join a team that team's going to win, and you've got to have that competitive spirit in order to make that happen. That's attraction power. That's
all we got for today. I'm fired up. I'm ready to go today.
Nice.
That's all we got.
That was a good one.
Yeah. Thanks for watching. This one's obviously leadership. Like I said, if you have anything else, drop in the comments. We're here. Try to help you with everything we got. Next week, we got a few things to talk about growing a team. Something we want to get to is about how to hire, train, develop your team, and grow your team if that's what you want to do. So thanks for watching. Have a great day.